Maayong gabi, adings. Hello, welcome to Stories with Sapphire Live. Ako si Sapphire Sandalo. I am trying to learn Cebuano, which is why I am speaking this way. If there's any Cebuanos in the chat, say hello. Um, so this is the live stream that I do every Wednesday on Twitch at 5:30 Pacific. And if you miss it, no need to worry because I repost it the very next day on my YouTube channel, except you want people to interact live, which is the fun part. Maayong gabi, alienated kitten. All right, so I pulled up a couple stories, little reminder. If you would like to submit a story or a question, you can send it to right here. StoriesWithSapphire@gmail.com. That easy. Make sure you make a really interesting subject line so that stands out. Because it gets buried. I do not read these ahead of time, so I may struggle. I'm trying to, fix grammar or spelling, but bear with me. We're just having fun. All right, we're going to start off with this one from Angelica. All right, y'all ready? Mo Mobasa ko ang istorya. I think I said that right. I'm about to read the story. All right. Hey, Sapphire. I'm Angelica from Boston. I've been listening to your podcast. I absolutely love it, by the way. Thank you. And I can't recall the episode, but I heard someone talk about a premonition, and I wanted to share mine with you. I was about 12 years old when I had this very vivid dream that I can still remember today like it was yesterday. I was at an old outside basketball court, and the world in my dream seemed empty and was tinted like a rusty orange. It was kind of creepy. It was also wet, as if it just rained. I was looking towards this broken down bridge in the middle of where I was, and I see a huge floating TV in the middle of the sky or slightly above that bridge. Then I see people walking sluggishly around this empty space on and towards the bridge and look at the TV, as if they were waiting for it to show something. The TV turned on and it showed a picture of my mother and said, 34-year-old woman, manslaughter. It kept repeating that on and on. I was terrified because why would I dream about my mother being murdered? I woke up the next day, got ready for school. I was in middle school in about 6th grade. I told my mom about the dream, and she obviously didn't like that dream too much, so she told me to talk to my grandmother about it because she's a Christian woman who is very into dreams. So I told her, and she said most dreams don't correlate with our own real lives and not to worry about mom. I was in my first period, which was science, and I heard yelling and crying in the hallway. Everyone, including my teacher, went to the door to see what was happening, and it was a girl named India in the hallway crying hysterically. I heard her teacher say, "It'll be okay. I'm sorry for your loss, sweetie." So someone passed away, but who? I asked a girl in the hallway who passed, and the girl said, "Her mother. It's sad because she was so young." And I asked, "How old?" She replied, "Only 34. My heart dropped because of the dream I had last night. Someone's mother, who was 34, passed away, and that is literally what was announced in my dream, but with my own mother. It felt like my fault in a way. I told my teacher I felt sick, and I called my grandmother and told her, and she was just as shook as I was, and told me I have a gift. But it didn't seem like a gift to me at the time. After that, I began to have many dreams that show me things before they happen. Hopefully you get to read my story and enjoyed. I love your podcast. Thanks for sharing so many relatable stories. Angelica. Angelica! Thank you for sending that in. Oh man, I mean, this is not uncommon at all. I hear stories about dreams all the time. My cousin literally just texted me this morning about a predictive dream that she had. It happens to sensitive people, it happens to people who are not sensitive. Sometimes it's like, random. Um, it the way that I understand like why this happens is that when we're dreaming, we are in a state, we're between, awake and asleep, and that's just like the perfect, it is almost like meditative. I forget the name of the brainwaves. I don't even want delta. I don't know. There's some type of like brainwave frequency or something that happens when we're dreaming, and that is the ideal state to be in to receive visions, receive messages. But then again, these predictive dreams are always so interesting too because I mean, I don't believe that time is linear. As humans, we're experiencing it as linear. We're experiencing as something happens and then things keep happening and then it'll never go back. But there's all these theories about, time all happening at once. I don't know. Then the reason why humans think in a linear fashion is because if we actually understood like how it worked, it would just like blow our minds. I'm getting way off track here, y'all. I did not take a second to prepare ahead of time tonight, clearly. Well, thank you, Angelica. I really appreciated that. And I'm glad your mom's okay, but I am very sorry about India's mom. All right. Did I save this? Yes. All right, let's do the next one. Ooh, this one's called Aswang. It's from Gerald. Hi, at the Sapphire. My name is Gerald. I've been a fan of your YouTube videos, and just recently, I am one of your followers on your podcast. I'm from Iloilo, which is in the Visayas in the Philippines, where enchanted creatures are more popular. I actually have multiple experiences in seeing these creatures in this modern era. I don't think they exist, but my unforgettable experience is when I encountered the My grand Side note, my grandpa is from Iloilo. I am part Ilonggo because of him. My story happened when I was in first year of college. I was really sick at that time and I had been absent from class. I was alone in our house. Usually my mom and my brother would arrive at 6 p.m. So I was watching TV and I glimpsed the clock just above the TV that it was almost 4:45 and almost time to take my medicine. But I can't drink my medicine on an empty stomach, so I went downstairs and checked the fridge. There wasn't any food left. I texted my mom if I'll prepare the rice and cook the food, and she said she'll just buy food after she finished her job. And usually she arrived late, but I had to take my medicine, so I decided to buy food on Carinderia. Oh, at a Carinderia at another village. Sorry, guys, I'm tripping up today. It would only take me 10 minutes to go there, so I got my money and closed the gate while walking to the other village. I noticed that the children were going home since it was almost dawn. The street lights were on one by one, or I don't think they mean dawn, dusk. Right? Dusk is nighttime. The street lights were on one by one, and while walking, I noticed this man looking 27 to 30 years of age. He had long hair and was standing in a dark corner. I noticed his eyes were red, or maybe I was just hallucinating because I was sick. I really didn't mind it afterwards. I thought he was just a drunk guy, so I continued walking and arrived at the carinderia. It was a long queue. Many people were buying. I picked my food that I like, which is adobo, rice, and sauteed mixed vegetables. It took me more than 10 minutes to fall in line at the carinderia. Sorry, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Carinderia? When I was walking to our home, I checked the man again, who was at the dark corner of the street, to see if he was still there, and he was gone, so I brushed it off. It was almost dawn, and only few people were remaining, and only few people were walking on the street. And it was almost dark when I arrived at our gate. I felt this really eerie feeling, this heavy feeling on my body. And I noticed that every step I took, it was so painful. But I kept walking to our front door, but every step was painful and I kept crying. I wanted to shout for help, but I couldn't. I was hyperventilating that time and I just wanted to go inside our house and wanted to rest. Maybe this is just an effect of my sickness. When I arrived inside our house, I rested near the staircase, still in pain. It was a good thing our neighbor, let's call her Cindy, who was the age of 12 at that time, she usually went to our house to watch TV. We don't lock our gate because that was her routine schedule. She went inside our house and saw me not moving on the staircase. She kept calling me, but I couldn't speak, and I just kept crying. And I looked at her in the eyes and wanted to say, "Call for help." Thankfully, she understood how I felt, and she shouted, "Help!" And I didn't notice that my brother already arrived and ran from our second floor and saw me crying and not moving on the bottom of the staircase. He lifted me and walked me in my room. My brother was nervous and didn't know what to do. And then we heard that the gate sounded like it was opening. And Cindy shouted my mom's name and explained what happened. And my mom hurriedly ran to my room. When my mom arrived at my room and we were about to lock it, it smelled changao all over the room. Changao is an insect. It's called ensign wasp. It is an indication here in Iloilo or other part of the Visayas. If you smell it, an aswang is near. And what my brother did, he shouted and cursed out my window. Whoever you are, you are not my brother." And my mom looked for a lighter and burned a rubber and plastic. And after they did that, little by little, I felt okay and no more pain. So the explanation that my brother and my mother gave, because I was sick, my dungan is weak and can easily be controlled by a dark entity. In order for us to fight back this aswang, that's what my brother did, is pataasan ang dungan, the dark entity. That's why he was shouting and cursed. He have to show that he's stronger than the aswang, and what my mother did to get rid of the aswang. It didn't like the smell of burned rubber or plastic. After what happened, we went to the church. We put manungal vine, it's like spiky vines that this creature doesn't like, on our windows to get rid of any bad creatures. We sprinkled salt on our roof, and it never happened again. Without my neighbor Sydney and without my family, the aswang almost took me. So to Ate Sapphire and to all listeners, be careful next time if you don't believe in aswang, but I do hope with my story you know what to do to fight back. Thank you, Gerald. The whole section about the pataas ang dungan, that's like the Yangao story that I shared for holidays. I don't think that took place in Iloilo though. So yeah, no, really interesting that it's like very similar. And thank you for sharing. I'm not surprised that Iloilo is the place where it's super enchanted. That is where my grandpa was from. And I can't believe I never made that connection until like way later. And sorry I kept tripping up on that. My mouth was real dry. All right, live stream read. Okay, here we go. Okay, we got a little shorty. This one's called Shadow People and a Spirit Living in the House. This is from Seoul, K. I have thought about sending these stories, but after watching a few videos, I'll share mine. I have seen shadow people twice, and I'll never forget it. Most people think you see it because you're sleeping, but I know what I saw. These shadow figures were tall and wore nothing. They were just pure black with no face, but had arms, a torso, a head, and legs. I must have been around 8 years old the first time I saw it. I was playing the Wii with my brother in the living room. I turned to my right and looked at the hallway and kitchen. There, I saw a shadow figure run from the hallway to the kitchen. As a child, I was scared but curious. I got up and went to the kitchen, and nothing was there. I was terrified, but I didn't know why. The second time I saw it was at night with my sister and brother. We were standing at the wide open door for 2 minutes. For some reason, then, I see a shadow figure walk across the hallway. I'm unaware if my sister or brother saw it too. I've moved to a new home and no longer see them, but I still remember them so clearly. To the moment of me playing Super Smash Brothers with my brother while laughing, then feeling like my heart was sinking to my stomach when I saw the shadow figure run to the kitchen, then me seeing nothing. I have asked my brother later on if he saw it too, and he said, yeah, he didn't go to the kitchen, but I did. My sister doesn't remember seeing the shadow figure in the hallway, though. Spirit living in a house. My sister is very spiritual since she was born. She told me how she would have a dream and feel a spirit's presence. She once told me a dream she had where she was sleeping at her girlfriend's house. She saw a boy with blonde hair in front of the bathroom. She had 2 dreams of him and felt his presence when passing the bathroom. She then told me that a little boy with blonde hair died in that same house. There was also another spirit of an old lady, though. She was a sweet spirit and enjoyed my sister's presence. So sorry for poor grammar and spelling. Oh, no, you did great. So, okay. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, shadow people still creep me out. I don't know if you guys have seen that documentary called The Nightmare. I thought that was a really cool documentary. It's a bunch of interviews with people who have experienced frequent sleep paralysis, and something really common is you see the shadow people, you feel the sensations, and like that's happened to me before too. The ones that really scare me though are the ones where you know that you're not sleeping. It's where you actually, that I have not seen and that I am very terrified of. I hope to never see. All right. Let me label this one as red. Times it 51. All right, this one's called Lurking in the Trees. This is from Adiva. Not Adiva. Their name is Adiva. Oh, wait, let me check the chat real quick. I've definitely seen shadow people before, some good, some bad. Most good, surprisingly. All right. I love your stories more than George Lucas hates Star Wars so much. What? Wait. Okay, yeah, sorry. I was catching up on the chat. Okay, here we go. Hello, Sapphire. My name is Adiva, and I am back with another story that happened a very long time ago. The last story I sent was the one about the rat in my room. I hope you remember. I do remember. I will begin the story. Back home in Bangladesh, we were visiting my grandmother's village due to a wedding that was being held. This has to be at least 10 years ago. The house that the wedding was being held at was small, and with the large amount of people, we had no space to sleep for the night. So me, along with my sisters and parents, walked to the nearest house, which my grandmother's brother owned. After walking for a good 5 minutes, there was a small path filled with trees on both sides of the path. The trees almost blocked the sky, making it look like a very big blanket on top of you. We were walking down that path with our torches. Soon, as we approached the house, I started crying. Not hysterical, but a soft cry. One that would not stop. They took me to the house and placed me on the bed. It's important to note that I had very short toenails, to the point where they would not scratch anybody. But while I was crying and throwing my legs around the bed, my toenail scratched my sister. It was no small scratch, but a deep cut, almost like a razor blade. They called in an Islamic priest. I don't know what they are called in English. And they began to pray over my body. Soon as they did, I stopped crying as if nothing had ever happened. See, they said not to walk on that path at night, especially with your hair down. But me being this rebellious kid with beautiful long hair, I used to never put my hair up. I always tie my hair up before walking out at night now. I hope you enjoyed that story, Sapphire. I have many other stories that I would like to share soon when I have the time. I hope you read this on your stream like you did my last story. I love you. Oh, thank you, Adiva. Your stories are always great. Uh, oh my God, I remember Possessed Rat. Yes. Um, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard this. Well, no, I lied. I have heard of the superstitions that holding up your hair, tying up your hair can do different things. There's a Chinese superstition, I believe, that's similar. Someone send me a story about that, but I'm completely forgetting details, so not even worth sharing. But thank you so much. All right. Yeah, in a lot of cultures, hair is considered where your power is. I know for many Native Americans, they do not cut their hair. Native Americans, Sikhs, I believe Rastafarians, all believe that you hold your power in your hair. And, I have always loved short hair. I just never liked my hair long. But not going to lie, as I get older, I'm like, I feel like I need more hair. Because I want to be more powerful. Just kidding. Hello, I discovered Stories of Sapphire thanks to your work for One Down Media. Welcome. I'm grateful that there's a show about the supernatural from a cultural perspective that I can connect with. Best wishes. Oh, well, thank you so much. Are you Filipino? I mean, if you watch One Down Media, I mean, you don't have to be Filipino to watch it, but I'm curious to know. Oh my God, I'm checking my spit. All right, we can do like a couple more shorties. All right, this one's called, what? Sorry. This one is from Vana. The story is told from my mother's perspective. Oh, sorry, wait, hang on. Quick side note. I think part of the reason why part of the reason why I have loved short hair, most of my life is because when I was in second grade, this girl who was my neighbor, who was my best friend at the time, children are terrible, she had this long hair, and I just remember so vividly, and I don't remember what started it or why she said this, but she just like went up to me and she was like, long hair is so much prettier than short hair. And then she like whipped her ponytail and like kept walking. And I was like, what? And I remember I told my mom, and she was like, well, the next time she says that, you tell her that Snow White is beautiful and she has short hair. And I remember being like, I don't think that's the argument that you think it is. And I think ever since then, I was like, I'm always going to have short hair. I don't know. Anyways. Andrew! Andrew's in the chat, y'all. Oh my gosh, thank you for subscribing. You don't have to do that. Andrew Tate is the host. I don't know why I'm pointing at the chat as if he's here, like here. Andrew is the host of Let's Not Meet podcast. I'm sure all of you are familiar with it. It's amazing. He's amazing. And hello. Welcome to the stream. Now you're just seeing me ramble. Okay. Why was I distracted? Hair. Long hair. Anyways. No one cares. What was I reading? Vanna. All right, this is very, very short. But we'll see. You're only talking in emotes. All right. It's all good. One night, I was looking after my eldest children, and my friend was over. We lived in the middle of nowhere, and we were in our 20s. The baby had just fallen asleep, and my friend and I were under a blanket in our room. Our house was quite small. Every now and again, I would check on the baby. While we were under the blanket, we felt a tug. The blanket tugged. I poked my head out and laughed. It was probably the cat. I pulled the blanket on my friend and checked on the baby. She was fine. I walked back in my room and pulled the blanket over. We were on our phones, and then another tug. But this tug was stronger. I poked my head out. There was nobody there. This time, I didn't check on the baby. A few minutes passed, and the blanket pulled off of us with force. and the door slammed shut. I screamed and pulled my friend off the bed, grabbed our baby, and we fled the house as I called the police. We ran for 5 minutes, and as we were running, we saw the blue and red lights at the house. We sat on the road, and as we waited for the police to tell us anything, I sat with my friend and I rocked my baby. They walked up to us and said, "We couldn't find anything." I thought about the paranormal things that happened in my childhood. The next day, I contacted an exorcist. He looked around the house as I waited outside. I didn't want to go back in there. As I waited with my baby, he came outside and told me, "Your house was built on an old graveyard." Sorry, that's where it ends. I don't know why that made me laugh. It's very like, ooh, like spooky. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not making fun of your story. I just love the way it ends. Here's the thing about that. So, when you really think about it and you think about how old the earth is, things have died everywhere. Everywhere is a graveyard, right? I think. And this is something I said a lot on Paranormal Caught on Camera, because there's a lot of videos that they showed that where people ghost hunting at cemeteries, which honestly, so disrespectful. Unbelievably disrespectful. I always hated those videos because I'm like, please do not encourage people to go running around where people are just trying to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, so disrespectful. And also, graveyard cemeteries, not. I don't think that they are haunted. Yes, there's a lot of dead people, but that's not where the trauma happened. Graveyards and cemeteries are actually very peaceful places because, that's where family goes to hang out with their loved ones on the other side. It's not a traumatic. I mean, traumatic in the sense, yes, it is sad when you think about your, people who have passed, but the trauma didn't happen there. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's just my theory. I love Sapphire trying to be spooky, but she just can't contain her laughter. That's so cliche, not to make fun, just like it's a movie. Yeah. I just loved how it ended. Like, your house was built on a graveyard. Thank you, Vanna. Vanna? I appreciate it. All right. Are we ready for our last spooky spook? Let's see. This one's a pretty short one. All right, here we go. This is from, I hope I'm saying your name right, Shaoli. Hey, Sapphire. I've been watching your videos ever since you were a part of Snarled, and I absolutely love you and your videos. Oh, well, thank you. Oh, bye, Andrew. Everyone say bye to Andrew. I am currently 17, recently had a family reunion. It was a fun day. We were chatting and talking about old memories and laughing and basically having a blast until one of my uncles mentioned something I definitely did not remember happening. He basically started saying that if only he had listened to what I had to say, my aunt would have been alive today. And I was like, what? Okay, a little backstory. My aunt died when I was 5-ish years old. I don't remember much of her except that she always wore a red butterfly hair clip. So the story basically started with my uncle getting a phone call at around 4 a.m. in the morning from my mom saying that I was sobbing and was basically saying that my aunt was going to die. What my mom told my uncle was that I had a dream that my aunt would get run over by a train that would kill her. My aunt was actually away from my uncle at that time, visiting her hometown to meet her friends for a reunion. My uncle didn't join her, as he isn't really the type of social butterfly and would rather stay home than travel and socialize. It wasn't anything new of him to let my aunt travel alone with her friends and have fun. He dismissed my dream, basically saying I had a bad dream and my aunt is probably fine and there's nothing to worry about, and hung up. My mother tried calling my aunt later but was unsuccessful. My mom also said that I stayed up till 8 a.m. the following morning and had a high fever, eventually getting medicine and getting some rest. At noon, 2 p.m., In the afternoon, 2 p.m., we got the news that my aunt had passed away, and you guessed it, it was because she got run over by a train. It actually happened an hour after I called my uncle and I told him about my dream. So, what actually happened was they were coming back from a party and reached the train station to board a train back home. When they arrived, they realized they had to be on the other side of the platform. They did have flyovers to reach the other side of the platform, but since my aunt had some back issues, she cannot climb a flight of stairs as it would give her a backache. So she got on the tracks to reach the other side. It may sound strange, but they do this a lot where I'm from. Her friend joined her too in crossing the tracks together. When they reached the other side, the friend ended up climbing the platform on the other side before my aunt could. The worst imaginable thing happened. She got run over. Her friend died too, trying to grab her and pull her onto the platform. She got dragged in and died too. Since it was quite early in the morning and there wasn't anyone on the platform, their bodies were discovered a few hours later. It was bad. Very bad. The bodies were mixed together as one. My uncle was depressed as hell for a really long time after that, and he deeply regrets not listening to me that night. You want to know the creepiest part? I have absolutely no memory of that night at all. All I remember is getting a call about my aunt's death and my mom being petrified. I believe them, to be honest, because I've had quite a few more dreams like these where I predict someone's death, and it happens only for me to forget about having a dream at all. That's basically it. If in case you are reading this, thank you so much, and I love you. Whoa, yo. That's really sad. I'm very sorry about your aunt and her friend. Kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know if you guys heard or saw. It was, I don't even want to talk about it, but yeah, in New York recently, like a couple of weeks ago, a woman was pushed onto the tracks by someone. That's too much. Oh, yeah. That one got me. Okay, I need to smudge myself now before I continue my day. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining me again. Reminder if you want to submit a story for me to read, right here. Email's right here. People are always commenting, and the email is right here. Every week, every Wednesday, 5:30 Pacific here on Twitch, and then Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific on YouTube, if you missed it. All right, everybody. Maayong gabi. Wow, I can't think of any other phrases to say. Bye. This was such an awkward ending. All right, bye, everyone.